Over the past several weeks, players have excitedly joined in on a community fresh event on Classic era servers on Deviate Delight NA and Zandalar Tribe EU, and there's a major push to see if players can get Blizzard to give us fresh vanilla servers. With the hype of this fresh event that's going on, and there being more and more conversations about us receiving fresh vanilla servers, here are two major adjustments to any new servers that would help better recreate the vanilla experience and improve the overall gameplay. The first of these major changes that are actually more vanilla-like than what we got in 2019 is progressive itemization. The main example for this is PvP gear. In Classic 2019, when the PvP honor system and rewards were introduced, they included the rank 10 and rank 12 to 14 armor and weapons that were not actually available in original vanilla WoW until the AQ patch. One way to help balance the gearing process in vanilla WoW in classic fresh servers would be to only have the original rank 10 set available until the AQ patch and create a new set of rank 12 to 14 gear that has the original stats of the rank 12 to 14 gear before they were updated or added in the AQ patch. This one adjustment would mean that PvP gear would not dominate all facets of the game starting in phase 1 and going through the rest of the lifespan of the server. Instead, the original rank 10 and the original rank 12 to 14 gear would be on par with Molten Core and BWL gear during those early phases. In addition to PvP gear, this same idea of progressive itemization could be used for other items throughout vanilla WoW. One notable example is the Savage Gladiator chain set. Throughout the course of original vanilla World of Warcraft, rather than add new items to help with catch-up mechanics and improve players' abilities, Blizzard reworked a lot of gear that was already in the game. This means that when we got those 1.12 versions of the gear back in Classic 2019, it was actually at a stage where it was set up to be more of a catch-up gear for later phases of the game. To give us a better idea of what it was like to play in vanilla and to hopefully address the itemization that we used back in Classic 2019 that made lots of raiding and other gear irrelevant, it would be a good idea to either remove these items from the game until later patches or have them be in the game at their original versions and then have them update as patches progress. Including progressive itemization like this would mean that the early phases of content would have higher difficulty, and it may lead to different best in slot items that would make a fresh actually feel fresh. The second main change that I would propose for fresh vanilla servers is a timeline adjustment. Now that we've had ample opportunity to play vanilla WoW through classic WoW, timeline adjustments could be made to keep players engaged with content they've already done. Phase 1 of this new timeline would include Molten Core, Onyxia, Maraudan, and it would start with PvP honor system in the game with Warsong Gulch and Arathi Basin, and Azergos and Kazakh would be available. All of this would be out at launch, and this would be the content that we have for the first 3 months. One extra thing that would be added in is the Darkmoon Fair, which I think should be added in right around 2 months into the server. It should ideally be added in such a way that there are 2 Darkmoon Fair weeks in phase 1 before phase 2 is released. Phase 2 would begin around the 3-month mark, and it would include Blackwing Lair, Dire Maul, and Alterac Valley. This would go from the 3-month mark until 4.5 months in. At 4.5 months in, phase 3 would begin, and that would include Zul'Gurub and the Green Dragon world bosses. This would last through the 6th month mark. At the 6th month mark, phase 4 would begin. This would include the AQ world event and the war effort, and the eventual release of AQ 20 and AQ 40. It would introduce the 0.5 gear, and it would introduce all of the upgraded PvP sets, so the upgraded rank 10 sets and the upgraded rank 12 to 14 gear. Phase 4 would last from the 6-month mark until the 9-month mark. Phase 5 and the final phase would include the Nax Scourge Invasion world event and then Naxxramas itself. This would last from the 9-month mark until the 12-month mark. This new proposed timeline would mean that classic fresh servers, if done repeatedly, would just be on a 1-year cycle, which is about 6 months faster than what we got with original Classic 2019. I believe that this is a better way of doing it because it means that we're not farming the same content for too long before something new comes out. Progressive itemization and an altered content release schedule are two significant changes from what we got in 2019, but I believe they would both make it feel more like the original vanilla server experience, and it would make the whole experience feel more fresh and stay fresh because content would be released on a more timely schedule. If you are interested in having fresh, vanilla, classic era servers released on a similar schedule like this, with other changes that aren't actually changes, there are things that are more closely related to original vanilla than what we got in 2019, then I would encourage you to speak up and even participate on these fresh community events that are happening on servers like Deviate Delight NA and Zandalar Tribe EU. The only way that we're going to be able to convince Blizzard to give us fresh servers with some altered content like this that will make it feel more like vanilla is if we as a community come together and voice those opinions.